Today in the program, we speak to the Minister of Information, Tourism and Civic Education, and also a government spokesperson. Jappie Mhango, the Minister of Information and also the government spokesperson. Welcome to today's edition of Capital Straight Talk.
Thank you very much.
First of all, who is Jappie Mhango? Because your name sounds to be very new in as far as politics is concerned.
Well, I was born in 1969 in Nkhani district. I started politics, I think around 2005 when the DPP was formed. And since then, I've been in politics, despite the fact that I was working for the National Assembly.
So, you were working in the National Assembly, then why develop that interest in politics?
Well, it was naturally that if your father is a policeman, you always develop interest. And chances that you end up being a policeman are quite high. And probably that's what happened to me. I was working for Parliament, I was watching what was happening in there, and therefore developed interest and decided to join the game.
Parliament, it sounds to be quite an exciting job.
Remember, sports is political in nature. The positions that we hold in sports are actually elected positions. And therefore, it wouldn't be surprising that I found myself in now the main political game.
You said you decided to join politics and you went straight and joined the Democratic Progressive Party. But you being somebody coming from the northern region, why did you opt to go for the DPP instead of going for other political parties that are very famous in the northern region? You talk about Afford.
The DPP, the mighty DPP, that is the best party out there that every politician would want to be associated with. And that's exactly what I did. In fact, when the party was being formed in 2005, I was, party to that formation. You probably didn't know this. So I love the party, it's my party, and I'll surely die in this party.
DPP hasn't been that popular in the northern region. You might have taken a big risk,
That is a bit naive on your part. DPP has been very popular. In fact, in 2009, DPP swept almost all the seats in the north. It's only in the last election that probably the party did not do too well because of the negative publicity that the party was subjected to. But at the end of the day, the party still won.
You're talking about negative publicity. Who could you have blamed in that situation? Was it not the party itself to blame?
Not at all, but undesirable elements in the party. The party had probably some people that did not wish it well. And that's why probably the party suffered, that negative publicity.
But you can agree with me that the party during that time, it became very unpopular because of its policies. That's why it received such a negative publicity.
That aside, but we still won the elections and we're back in power. I do not think that a party can bounce back from the opposition and get back into government if it had bad policies. I believe that our policies were good. That is why we voted back into power in last year's elections.
Are you confident that you were voted back into power because of your policies? Because some people have been expressing reservations on how the DPP won the elections.
Some crazy characters would always do so, but the fact is, and it remains, and will always remain in history, that the DPP has had very sound policies, and that's the more reason we were elected back into power. Let me take you back from 2004 to 2009, what the party did. If you come to Lilongwe, where I live, Lilongwe is what it is today because of the DPP. Not only Lilongwe, even the region where I come from, we enjoyed massive development projects up north, just like in the southern region. The party rode on that to bounce back into power. And currently, we're doing just that. We thrive on ensuring that we give people what they want. These are development projects.
Let me take you as the Minister of Information. All of a sudden, you are now the government spokesperson. Why do you think the President, Peter Mutharika, appointed you into this ministry?
Unfortunately, you did not congratulate me for being appointed to this position. And let me, in the same vein, thank the President, Professor Peter Mutharika, for having seen something in me that could probably make me run this ministry. Remember, when I got elected to become a member of Parliament, he appointed me Deputy Minister of Defense, where I was deputizing the President himself. And it pleased him recently, and that is his prerogative to appoint a Minister of Information. Probably he's seen something in me that I will be able to deliver in this ministry.
What something would you have thought that the President saw in you?
I wouldn't, speak for the President. He is that person who can probably do that question, what he has seen in me. But remember, probably I've got the capabilities that can see me manage the ministry.
That's why I'm asking you, what sort of capabilities would you share with us here?
I'm a very capable person, very capable. I was in Minister of Defense, I worked, probably I delivered there, and he realized that probably if he put me in the Ministry of Information, I would do the same, and I'm prepared to do the same.
Soon after being appointed, you were very quiet, which surprised most of the members of the media. They said, here we have got the whole government spokesperson. He's quiet, he's not speaking to us. What made you become so quiet?
I was not quiet, and that was a misconception. I was not quiet, and I'll never be quiet. I like speaking, and I speak my mind. All right? I was never quiet. But the media wanted to push me to probably too far. I was appointed Minister of Information on the 17th. Few days later, I left this country to finalize my master's in Switzerland. I only came back in this country on the 5th. And immediately, I'm told I'm not speaking to the media. It doesn't work that way. I felt I was very much offended. The fact is, in government, I will not speak just because someone wants me to speak. I want to speak and speak sense. Matters that are specific to ministries, I was at that material time referring them, and I will continue referring them to specific line ministries. But on matters that are very general government policies, I will speak. But if you're asking me about water from Ludong Water Board, I will surely refer you to Ludong Water Board. These are the people that are responsible for water. Those were the type of questions that I was referring to specific ministries. I was not, and I will never run away from the media. In fact, if you look at my track record, I've been very, very media friendly because I've been in sports, and in sports, we're always in the media.
But now, your absence in the media was regarded as a weakness, and at the same time, you're telling me that you are a capable person. But now you're saying you'll be referring some of the questions to line ministries. That might mean that you are not that a capable person.
That would be naive on your part. In fact, that is what an able minister is supposed to do. I can't know just everything that's happening in government. It's not possible. And that's why there are lots and lots of ministries. We want to ensure that information is obtained at source. And these are ministries. In every ministry now, we have got spokespersons that speak for particular ministries. We want you people from the media to have access to information at source. That's what we're doing. We want to improve the way information flows in government.
There have been a lot of condemnation on the way the government system in terms of information is actually going on. You can agree with me, Mr. Minister, that the recent issue, for example, the number of people that have accompanied the president, still Malawians are not sure the actual number that have gone to the United Nations because there's been information gap.
There has been no information gap. Let me probably now go back to my department, that of civic education. Malawians must from today realize or understand that a Malawian delegation is not the same as a presidential delegation. A presidential delegation comprises officials from government. Those are led by the president. A Malawian delegation is encompassing. Anybody who would want to go to the UN will, at the end of the day, be regarded as a delegate from Malawi because that's the way they register. So at UNGA, there are two sets of people. There are people that have been sponsored by other organizations, but they fall under the Malawian delegation. And then we have got the president's delegation that is headed by the president himself. That's one component of the delegation. The delegation that the president approved to go to UNGA is only 18 people. And I've given you that information.
Though you're saying there is these two sets of delegation, the presidential delegation and the Malawi delegation, but still that information has been lacking. And do we know the exact number of people? Because we understand that government should have at least given a nod for these people to go to the UN.
No. It's not the government that will give them a nod. People from the civil society, they'll travel on their own. But they don't have to come to government to seek clearance. We don't operate like that. That would be actually infringing on people's rights. We don't want to do that. People in Malawi are free to travel at any given time. That's why we give them passports. But when they're going to UN, they will register as part of the Malawian delegation. So anybody who is in the US currently, as Malawian delegation, they're regarded as such. But the delegation from Malawi, that came from Malawi government, is composed of 18 members. And that information has been given, and I stand by that information.
But why do you think the media has actually captured the number of more than 100 people that are there at the United Nations?
That's why I needed to do a bit of civic education for you, to also understand the difference between Malawian delegation and the presidential delegation. Simple.
But can you agree, Mr. Minister, that such information, you as the line minister, you have failed to provide to people out there, including us, the media?
The information has been provided 3 days ago. It was in black and white in the national newspaper. What else do you want me to provide? I did do the needful, and that was done, and I stand by that. The president has been accompanied by, whether it's 100 or it's 50 or 30 Malawians. But the president in his delegation, there are only 18 people. Malawians, yes, but the government delegation, only 18 people.
Who has actually sponsored the 18 people?
That's government. These are government officials. So government has to sponsor them.
But we are told that almost 300 million kwacha has been spent on the president's visit to the UN.
That is very incorrect. Very much incorrect. There is no way an 18-member delegation can blow that much of money. It's not possible. It can never happen. It can never happen. That is very, very incorrect.
Incorrect?
Very much incorrect. Very much incorrect.
But now, why is it that your ministry did not provide such information before even the trip by the president has taken place? Because that's why people are saying there is a very big disconnect when it comes to issues of national interest, including the president's trip to the UN. You failed to provide us with such information.
The information was provided, but people deliberately choose to distort the information as given. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable George Chaponda, did give out that information. And what further information would you people would want from me? All I'm doing is simply re-emphasize what my colleague minister had given. Not the information was given beforehand.
Comments are still being made on this issue, and this has actually had a very big dent, and it will always have a very big dent on the Democratic Progressive Party administration. It seems as if this has been a mess.
No mess, no dent at all. It is only people in opposition that always talk ill of government, and they would be saying the government has actually suffered a dent. But in the real sense, we've not suffered any dent, because we have given out to Malawians the truth about this trip. Nothing has been withheld. The facts will remain, and they will remain as given.
Why is it that sometimes in this case, we understand that this UN meeting was very important for the president to actually attend? Couldn't it be possible for the president maybe to delegate his vice? Because if the vice had to go there, even the expenses that were supposed to be incurred would have been minimal as to think of the president.
UN General Assembly is for heads of government. The head of government in this country, it is the president. And remember, we are currently facing challenges as a country. The best forum where the president is going to articulate the challenge that we are facing is the UN. That is the best forum, because the whole world has gathered in the US. And that's where we can ably articulate our issues. And the right person to do that is the president.
But as we have already agreed, Malawi is facing a lot of challenges. Even if the president has gone there, do you have to say the solutions have been immediately available?
We have to send the topmost Malawian citizen to go there and advocate our issues, bring these issues before the UN that we are facing problems. In fact, let me tell you one thing. You need to document this. When the president made pronouncement that the country is facing hunger, how much money did you get from the US government? 9 billion. Okay? Now, do you know how much money the president is going to bring from the UN? It will be lots and lots of, support from well-wishers out there. That is the impact a president will have by attending that forum.
So you are assuring Malawians that the president's presence at the UN will have immediate results?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just giving an example here that when the president made a pronouncement that the country is facing problems, the response from the American government was 9 billion. That's the president. It's not the Minister of Information speaking. It's the president. That's how much the president, when he makes a pronouncement, this that would come from the well-wishers. So we feel and strongly believe that the president's attendance at the UN will bring us instant results, much more than probably the money that we're complaining that the government has spent on this delegation. We realize the best youths out there.
Let's change the topic a little bit. You can agree with me, Mr. Minister, that you are even able to hear what the people are saying on the ground. Things are not okay. The DP-led administration is losing track because the social life is a problem, economic life is a problem. Do you agree that the DPP is losing the plot?
Not at all. We are firmly in control and improving the lives of Malawians. Remember, we are currently doing reforms in the public service. We want to improve service delivery. We want Malawians to access services, good services from a public service that is, well motivated. We want Malawians to see change in the way they have been accessing services in the past and now going forward.
How would you say that you are in control, yet the purchase is losing value each and every day? You talk about the social services, drugs are not available in hospitals. Recently, as part of the reforms, the government has decided to abolish the junior certificate examinations. Is this the sort of improvement that you're talking about?
Well, when you are ill, when you are sick and you are taken to the hospital, the day medication will start being administered on you, you usually go very low. Take, for example, quinine. Quinine is an extremely difficult dose to take. Very bitter. The day you consume quinine, people will probably think that you'll die the next day. But as you now begin to pick up, the recovery becomes amazing. And that's exactly what we're doing. We know the reforms that are currently, being effected will give people, Malawians, some changes here and there. But after they have stabilized, after everything is settled, Malawians will clap hands for this government.
Do you think Malawians will really clap hands for this government when you have actually abolished the junior certificate examinations? You talk about delayed salaries. Even the life of people is becoming quite unbearable. Teachers are supposed not to be paying whenever they would like to go for training. school fees have been hiked in different public institutions. You talk about the university, you talk about the secondary schools. Then do you expect people to be clapping hands for the DPP-led administration?
When we are talking of improving service delivery, these are some of the reforms. You want to get quality service. Quality service will always come with a cost. That's where it ends. We want to give people quality service, and that's how we feel we should go.
So you are still hopeful that Malawians will really be so happy in the near future?
Very soon, and I mean very soon, Malawians will be clapping us for this administration. We will have achieved what probably every administration in the past probably failed. The administration of Professor Peter Mutharika will have achieved amazing results in the shortest time possible.
But critics are saying all this is happening because the DPP-led administration is so arrogant. It doesn't want to actually engage donors for them to resume aid into this country. That's why all this is happening. You are taxing an already thin cow. That's what people are saying.
You just use your own terminology. Critics should never come from government, always from the opposition. The opposition in Malawi is very good at criticizing everything. Even if you put a road in their own home, they'll still criticize. Typical of Malawian opposition. They will never appreciate good things in life. Even if you bought him a suit today, he'll still criticize you. Typical of the Malawian opposition. Let me advise them today that it is time together we build this country. This country belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to one person. So if you want to wake up every day and believe that if you criticize too much, you put food on your table, let it be. But the fact is, this government is determined to improve the lives of Malawians, and will do it in style.
In style?
Absolutely, in style, to be done.
Today in the program, we're talking to Minister of Information, Civic Education and Tourism, Jappie Mhango. On this issue of the government to re-engage with donors, for them to resume aid into this country, because that's what people are saying, the situation currently is due to lack of donor funding. Do we have to say the DPP government has said a big no to engage donors into any discussion for the resumption of aid?
No, we are talking to the donors. Remember, the donors left because of Cashgate. Maybe you people have forgotten. You need to be reminded. Donors left because of Cashgate. Cashgate happened not during the DPP administration. It happened during the last administration. That's why donors left. And the donors are asking us to improve certain things, and we are working around the clock to improve those things. Once that is done, I believe donors will come back.
A lot of people are saying you're just using that as an excuse, because reports are indicating that the Cashgate issue started even during the late Bingu Mutharika administration. That's why people are talking about 577 billion kwacha. That was lost during that time. Now the DPP administration, you're pushing everything to the last administration of Joyce Banda, where almost 22 billion kwacha went missing. So people are saying the DPP-led administration is the one that started all these problems.
The DPP never started these things. You know, you people tend to mix issues. Don't mix issues. We are talking about the revelations of the Cashgate starting 2013 or thereabout, where lots of money was plundered, and there's evidence, glaring evidence. I have no evidence about the Cashgate that started in DPP. There's no evidence. Have you seen evidence yourself?
People do not express any surprise because it's coming to you, being part of the DPP.
No, but I'm going to be honest. You do not have evidence about the 577 billion. We have got evidence, and people have been arrested about the 24 billion. What else do you want? Don't mix issues. The issue that sent donors packing with the 24 billion, that was plundered during the last administration, period.
People are saying, enough of the Cashgate, let the DPP find solutions and make things move.
That's what we're doing. We are currently moving things forward. We are moving things forward and moving them in the right direction. That's what we're doing. That's what the administration of Professor Peter Mutharika is doing. What else do you want? We are doing things that we want to make sure that donor confidence is restored in this country, and that is being done.
Doing it by making sure that school fees in secondary schools and primary schools have been increased. Doing things by making sure that people at the Road Traffic Directorate are paying more money for the services that are supposed to be getting at a reduced amount of money. That's what you're saying?
Doing things right. Doing things properly. Improving service delivery. I told you earlier on that when you want to improve service, it will always come with a cost. It is normal. It is very normal. Now, getting back to the issue of the Cashgate, let me put these things in perspective. The 577 billion is an audit query. It is not Cashgate. It is an audit query. Auditors have simply queried that maybe here and there they are not tracing documents. Those ones will always be responded to by those responsible. But the other ones actually, because people are stealing money, looting, stealing public money.
So this audit query was made during the DPP-led administration.
It's combined. It dates back from to long time back. Yes, it's an audit query. An audit query is not theft per se. People are saying, can we have a receipt here? Can we have a receipt here? That's what the query is all about. It's not saying people stole money. No. But in the casket, people literally stole money and use it elsewhere. Evidence is there, getting evidence. That's what some people are holding in prison now. They admitted that they stole government money. That's what this cash is all about.
Enough of the cash gate. People are being prosecuted. Malawi should be moving forward, and they're looking at the DPP-led administration to provide solutions and answers. Now the answers are not forthcoming. That's where people are expressing worry.
The answers are forthcoming. We are coming from a very, very difficult background where cash gate is involved. Going forward, we need to bite the bullet for us to move things right. And that's exactly what we're doing. The DPP administration under the presidency of Professor Peter Mutharika is doing everything possible to make life for Malawians better. And that is exactly what we're doing done.
So you're confident that sooner or later things will actually come back to normal?
I would want to assure Malawians, including yourself, because you're a Malawian, that very, very shortly you'll be clapping hands that your government has delivered on the reforms, where service delivery will have been improved to levels where people will be saying, here is our government.
But the fear is that by then, whenever things might be improving, a lot of people would have died by then, because if drugs are not available, people are unable to afford a decent meal every day, the salaries are delaying.
I have never, in this administration where salaries have delayed, salaries have never delayed. Salaries are being paid on time. Okay? Even if you go to hospitals, not that there are no drugs. Drugs are there. But you know, the problem that when you go to a hospital one day and there's no aspirin and they think there are no drugs, it's not all the time. Drugs are being supplied to hospitals to make sure that our people do access them every time they visit hospitals. Nobody is going to die in this country because of lack of drugs in the hospital. Nobody is going to die in this country because probably there was no medicine in adult depots. Government has put in measures to ensure that all social services are provided. Government has procured enough maize to see to it that Malawians do not starve. Hospitals are now being stocked with the drugs. I do not think that any Malawian is going to suffer any social ill.
You can agree with me, Mr. Minister, that recent reports were revealing that government is broke, because government has actually stopped some of the newly trained medical personnel for them not to start work because government didn't have the money to be paying them.
Well, there are times when maybe some of us just people do things in a haste. You want things done. You don't want to cut corners. You want things to be done in order. Let me stop there.
What do you mean? Because people would like to get answers from you, being the government spokesperson. You stopped those who are trying to be providing a good service to the people through hospitals. You say you don't have money. They wait after training them.
Be patient. Government is on top of things. Sooner than later, these issues are going to be addressed.
Before we finish off, Mr. Minister, one of the contentious issues that has always been there is the access to information bill. Every minister has been talking about it, that is going to be passed in the National Assembly, but until today, it seems as if this song will continue being sung. You are the new minister. What latest information would you give members of the public out there?
I have dealt with almost all your questions, giving you information. What else do you want? What access to information do you want, other than what I've given you today? I have given you answers to most of the questions that were posed to me. That said, though, the bill is being given due attention. As I speak, I think it is in the hands of the Minister of Justice to have a look at it so that finally it is presented before Parliament.
But this explanation has been coming. The bill is with the Minister of Justice to fine-tune it. So for how long is it going to be fine-tuned? The next 10 years? The next 20 years?
For as long as it is ready to take it to Parliament. We don't want to take to Parliament a document that is half-baked. We want to take to Parliament a bill that is up to the mark, so that at the end of the day, people should be saying, here is a law that we had wanted. We don't want to rush things. But let me just assure you that the government is doing all it can to make sure that the Access to Information Bill is finally tabled in Parliament.
Your explanation will be just regarded as one of those delaying tactics typical of government. You are afraid to have this bill tabled and passed in the National Assembly.
Can you tell me what we are afraid of? We represent the interests of Malawians, and we'll do that by making sure that Malawians are well represented. Count on me, trust me, the bill will be taken to Parliament at an appropriate time.
Appropriate time when? Because this has been the explanation coming to every minister who has been there even before you were appointed as the Minister of Information. Will you promise Malawians that here comes a minister who is going to do everything possible to have the Access to Information Bill passed?
That's exactly what we are doing in the ministry, to make sure that the bill finally sees the doors of Parliament, where it is discussed, deliberated, and probably passed into law. We are working, and we're working tirelessly to do that.
Would you be ready not to be afraid of this bill? Because there have been fears that government would always be afraid to have this bill passed, because it will be mandated for you to be giving us each and every information. For example, the president going to the UN without the members of the public being provided with the full information about the entourage of the president, how many people have gone there.
The challenge with the media in Malawi is that you think that access to information is about the media. It's not. It's actually about Malawians. This bill is for Malawi. It's not for the media. The media will just be one sector that will benefit from this bill. So do not take it as a media instrument. It is an instrument for all Malawians. That's why I'm saying we have to make sure that it's properly done, thoroughly consulted, and make sure that we take to Parliament, we take something that's encompassing that Malawians will celebrate about. We don't want to go to take something to Parliament that will only please the media and leave out the Malawians. We will not allow that. But that said, like I said earlier on, we are working around the clock to make sure that the bill is taken to Parliament.
Members of the media are part of the members of the public out there, and we are just acting as watchdogs. That's why we are saying even members of the public out there, they have waited for this bill for quite some time.
We are doing our best to make sure that the bill is taken to Parliament.
Before we finish off, since we are appointed as the Minister of Information, the government spokesperson, how has it been like?
Quite enjoyable, isn't it? I'm enjoying speaking to you right now. It's enjoyable, but at the same time it's challenging. This is one of key government ministries, and people would call you day in, day out, in the middle of the night, wanting to get information. That's the beauty about it. But so far so good. Can't complain. I think on top of things, and I'm enjoying the job.
By the end of the day, what do you want to achieve so that Malawians one day say, here we had a Minister of Information?
To have assisted in improving the lives of Malawians by using the ministry. That's exactly what I want to see as a legacy in the ministry. It's not a one-man show. It is a collective responsibility. I am not working in isolation. I'm working with all my colleagues, civil servants, ministers, including the principal himself, the president. We are working as a team, and we want to make sure that policies of the government and the DPP manifesto is at the end of the day accomplished.
Now, as you have admitted that this seems to be one of the quite challenging ministries, it's quite hectic. Members of the media would be calling you anytime. Do you have some free time yourself?
As every other human being, you always create free time. I'm not in prison. I'm only working, doing a job that was given to me by the president. But in doing my job, I still have to have some time where I must relax with my family. I'm a family man. I've got children. They also need to have some time with myself. Well, like I said, I come from a very, very sporty background. So I like watching football. I like watching volleyball, which is my sport. Besides that, remember, I've got a constituency back home. I'm in this position because people elected me back home. I have to make sure that those people are not forsaken, are not abandoned. So I must have time to go regularly.
Mr. Minister of Information, who is also government spokesperson, thank you so much for talking to us in today's edition of Capital Straight Talk.
It has been very exciting talking to you, and I'm humbled. I look forward to more of such programs in future. I'm always available if you want, matters clarified. I'll be doing that for as long as the president to retain me in this ministry. Be assured I'll do my best to make sure that you people do access information as and when it is required and when it is available. Because at times when you ask some things that probably don't have ready answers, you get angry. No, be patient. I'm here to work with all media houses in this country. I will never dodge questions. I will never run off from the media. I will work with you. You are one of my constituents.
On that note, we've also come to the end of today's edition of Capital Straight Talk. In the program today, we are talking to government spokesperson Jappie Mhango. A lot of thanks to go to Franklin Pade for his technical expertise on the sound console. My name is Timothy Kadeda. Till next time, it's good evening.